Good to be back with you here on YAFFEE Live. It's a revolution in common sense, always on the Talk Monster. And, of course, we're on 1 to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday on Talk Radio 102.3. Joining me right now is Brandon Lewis. He is the founder of the Tennessee Conservative, and you can always read a lot of good stuff right there, TennesseeConservativeNews.com. In fact, a lot of times when I do my Tennessee bullet points, I get it from that site, TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Brandon, how are you today, sir?
Man, I'm great, Yaffee. Glad to be here with you.
All right. It seems like as well that Memphis is doing pretty great, at least better than they were. I know you guys had a story where the Memphis Safe Task Force apprehends high-risk fugitive and makes some other notable arrests.
Oh, yeah. So I'm excited about this story, and I think in our state, Brent Taylor's probably been the best law and order member of the Tennessee General Assembly that I've seen, and he's really been advocating for what I'd love to advocate for in Chattanooga, and that is we have a beautiful city. Why can't we keep it safe? And the Memphis Task Force, in a coordinated effort in federal, state, and local agencies, has already surpassed 1,200 arrests, and they've captured gang members, fugitive, violent offenders. It's located 67 missing children. It's amazing that Democrats are still fighting this. It's charged 51 sex offenders. And here's the kicker to me. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Since its launch, Memphis has seen a 40% reduction in violent crime. Homicides are down by 50%. Just think about how many lives that's saving. And from a quality of life and a safety standpoint, car thefts and sexual assaults have also dropped by 60%. And so, to me, this is huge. Lieutenant Colonel Allen, who's the Memphis Task Force commander, said, it's just a unique collaboration of all these agencies. It's yielding impressive fruit, and even the Memphis Police Department Chief, C.J. Davis, has said you can't argue with the results, and violent crime is down across the board. So that's good in Memphis. We'd love to see it come to Chattanooga.
Yeah, earlier this week on my show, I was playing some cuts from some videos that went viral of Memphis residents who live in these really high crime areas. And they were talking about how they haven't heard a gunshot in like 2 weeks. Their kids can go outside and play and all that kind of stuff. And the first thought I had was, how did we let it get to that point where kids in America couldn't go outside and play during the day? But also, it really does show the success of this task force.
It certainly does. It irks me that our folks in the inner city can't live safely. It's why I moved out of downtown Chattanooga to Signal Mountain out in the woods, is because I just got tired of it. I got tired of worrying every evening, of having to lock everything up, of people being in my yard at night. I've told this story before. I mean, we woke up one night in the middle of the night, and there was a man in our bushes with a baby, who was in some domestic dispute and running from the law.
Yeah.
When we decided to move, we couldn't keep the homeless people out of our yard from digging in the dumpster as we were cleaning out the house. And every day you'd show up and there'd be crap all over the dumpster and cars getting broken into. And this is what, residents in Hamilton County are living with in the city under Tim Kelly's leadership. And despite multiple, outcries from his district, he just doesn't seem to care. It's a hallmark of Democrat lawmakers that they are in love with crime. Why, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But it seems to be where we're headed, and hopefully, we can see something like this come to all these high crime cities in Tennessee, so that people can just live safely where they are.
Well, I mean, I can tell you a little bit why Democrats put up with this, because they believe that if you're tough on the criminals, you must be racist or something. The criminals are just victims. They're victims of society or capitalism. So if you're too tough on them, you might be considered racist or bigoted. So they just kind of keep letting them go.
Well, it's I can't remember. It was in one of Dostoevsky's books. One of the characters said, my father was a sentimental man, and like all sentimental men, he was cruel. And I think when folks focus on the criminal, the I don't know, 0.0025% of the population, while they're coddling the criminal, they are simultaneously telling everyone else, we don't care about you. And so for them to have such a big heart, it's amazing how many people they let fall victims to their chosen beloved that are out there. And it's primarily repeat offenders that go in and out of the court system. I mean, this all falls at the feet of the mayor, the police chief, the DA, the justice system. You've got a job to protect the people in your area. I think you should, take it seriously.
So what do you think about the fact that there's a Tennessee Democrat state representative, Antonio Parkinson from Memphis, who seems to be supporting, at least admitting, that this task force in Memphis has been beneficial? And also I saw that Tennessee Congressman Steve Cohen, the one Democrat in the congressional delegation, he's admitted that at least part of it is good. He doesn't like the National Guard. So it does kind of show, one, to me, it shows it's working, where even they have to admit it. But two, I mean, I guess politically speaking, they understand the reality here.
Yeah, I mean, he said he's even, Antonio Parkinson, and there are some Democrats that are far more conservative on certain issues in the legislature than Republican leadership is. If it's family members of lobbyists being not in the General Assembly, if it's corporate welfare, if it's transparency, often Democrats are really far more in alignment on certain issues with the GOP primary voters than our leadership is. It's like they turn a deaf ear for corporate money or whatever it may be, or greed or getting rich. And so, he said he's encouraged National Guard members to apply to the Memphis Police Department. And who'd want that job underneath the leadership they have? But you got folks like Justin Pearson that says this is a military occupation of Memphis neighborhoods. And to him, I would say, well, why are they there in the first place? You've got Democrat leadership. Shouldn't you be able to get that? And it kind of reminds me, when you're working in a group or you're working in a company and there's this awful problem or there's this lack of customer service, whatever it may be, and then somebody comes in where all the failures have been previously, and the folks that are there responsible for the failures always want to gang up on the folks that are actually performing, because losers don't like winners. And the good news is the winners in this case are the citizens of Memphis, and the folks that don't seem to be cheerleading for them loud enough are the Democrats in leadership.
Now, I did see this as well. Apparently, Department of Homeland Security, they arrested some gang members, pedophiles, drug traffickers, all a part of this SAFE task force in Memphis.
Yeah, you would think they would celebrate it, but instead they condemn it. And it's just amazing that people can't put politics aside to do what's really beneficial for the greater number of people in their area.
Speaking with Brandon Lewis, he is the founder of the Tennessee Conservative. Another issue you and I talk about a lot has to do with illegal immigration. See, you guys have a story as well where Knox County commissioners propose restrictions on nonprofits using grant money to aid illegal aliens.
Yeah, and I was excited to see this. Essentially, Knox County Commissioners Andy Fox, and we've got another story here about the Montgomery County School Board, but on the Andy Fox and Angela Russell introduced a proposal that would prohibit county grant funds from being used to assist any individuals that are in violation of U.S. immigration laws, and it requires these nonprofits, which are often the catalyst for rampant illegal immigration issues in our state. Even when we reported and shut down that covert center that Bill Lee approved here in Chattanooga, where kids were molested and lost, it went through these same types of nonprofits. And the goal is just to make sure there's transparency and accountability. And, Andy Fox says that no funds will be used for any individuals who are in violation of U.S. law related to immigration. And Angela Russell said, we want to ensure the taxpayer dollars are being used legally and responsibly. I mean, what a breath of fresh air to have elected officials, instead of letting our taxpayer dollars being wasted, or worse yet, wasted and harmful at the same time to our community, to watch these people stand up. So I was rather impressed.
Yeah, and you had mentioned it there. You had another story. It was out of Montgomery County, where the school board there and the Republicans defeated a resolution against a bill to disenroll illegal aliens. So talk about that a little bit. Yeah,
and this is in marked contrast to what our school board did here recently in Hamilton County. And so there was a tense and emotional meeting. The Montgomery County School Board narrowly, and this is the sad part, narrowly rejected a resolution that opposed legislation that Bo Watson and William Lambert brought that would disenroll or charge tuition to illegal immigrant students. And it was introduced by Democrat Carol Berry, who sought to say, hey, we need taxpayer-funded illegal alien education in Tennessee. And luckily, they were able to defeat it. And Aaron Mabry, said this board has no need to focus on partisan politics. This isn't partisan. When people are going to a classroom, like my niece, who had to unenroll from government schools because it's so crowded with illegal aliens, and she's the minority in the class, and the teacher says outright, the reason that she's not learning anything is because I've got this room full of kids that can't even speak English, and I'm so far behind doing remedial things, we can't even focus on the basics. And so it's good to see, but here in Hamilton County, and this is where you need to pay attention in these upcoming school board races, Ben Doherty, who's up here at Signal Mountain, Gary Cohn, and Joe Smith, they actually in our county joined the Democrats to vote in favor of taxpayer-funded illegal alien education, and Felice Haddon, Jody Schaefer, Steve Slater, they abstained from the vote, which is the same as voting with the Democrats, even though surveys showed that 78%, almost 79% of their GOP base opposes this. I paid for the survey myself in Hamilton County. And so in Hamilton County, we've got a situation where our school board is so detached from the GOP voters that elect them, whereas in Montgomery County, at least there were enough GOP representatives who kind of knew what their base wanted and delivered it. Not all of them, but it's amazing to see how just, I guess, indifferent our elected officials are to the will of the folks that send them. You don't get sent. People don't vote for you and send you to office thinking that you are going to ignore their wishes and just do whatever you want to. And the question you've got to ask is, these school board reps we have in Hamilton County that believe this is okay, that run with a GOP moniker beside their name, who are they for then? They're obviously not for the GOP primary voter. Are they for the illegal aliens? Are they for the left-wing press? Or are they for the government employees? They're surely not for the folks that sent them there. So in these upcoming school board races, I'd recommend that anybody who voted for this stuff needs to be kicked out of office, because what a litmus test when you can't even tell what 80% of your people want and go in the absolute opposite direction. That's a sign that you don't need to run as a GOP nominee. Maybe run as an independent, maybe run as a Democrat, but you certainly shouldn't run as a Republican.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of these school boards, and then you have the teachers union, everything else, they want the illegal immigrants because more students equals more money for the public schools. So they lose a lot of illegal immigrants. They don't get as much money, but it's like that's not the point. The point should be what's best for the students, right?
So, I mean, it's gotten to a point where our schools they're really government employee factories.
Yeah.
And the government employees, they are not concerned with the mission, and that is educating and equipping our children for the workforce. They're not very interested in what constituents want. They are primarily worried with their own self-interest and keeping the money flowing in. And so this is one of the reasons I've so often lost heart in the future of what government education can do, because when you've got an organization where you don't have to listen to your clients, when the work product doesn't matter, where you get paid whether or not you perform, and that there's no promotion or demotion based on performance. I just don't see how in that culture in our schools, like how do you reform something that has that entrenched culture? I think unless somebody is brave enough to turn it on its head, and that would take a heck of a lot of bravery, I don't think within this context that we're going to get very far.
Brandon Lewis is the founder of the Tennessee Conservative. You can read his latest stuff, TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Subscribe on the site absolutely for free, and the latest news shows up in your email inbox every day. Brandon, appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, YAFFEE. Take care.